Have you ever looked at a tree standing completely alone? No forest to blend into, no vines to wrap around it, just earth beneath, sky above, and yet it blooms. Season after season, it loses leaves and grows them back. It bends with the wind, soaks in the heat of the sun, and somehow it never looks like it's lacking something. The ocean is the same. It stretches endlessly, vast, wild, and solitary. Sometimes it's visited by surfers, by storms, but its essence remains untouched, rooted in its own rhythm. I think we're the same. We get visitors, lovers, friends, moments of connection, but we were never meant to be filled by them. I learned that to be happy alone, it's not about rejecting people, it's about finding peace in my own presence, knowing that even when no one shows up, I still can bloom. And maybe happiness isn't meant to be in a fixed position. It comes and goes. So I think what I really meant by finding happiness when alone is that feeling of contentment that remains steady at all times. So the real question is, how do we obtain that state of contentment in being alone? And why is that so important? There is an unspoken rhythm we fall into when we're surrounded by others. Sometimes we love that rhythm, and sometimes we don't. But the part of us that longs to be accepted, to be liked, starts working overtime just to fit in. That daily hustle keeps us busy, always moving, always reaching for connection. But when we are suddenly alone, with no access to that external rhythm, we start to feel that ache, the longing to belong, to be seen, to be held. But what if that rhythm we're chasing is something we can find within? What if we could stroll through life, skipping and dancing to our own beat? The one that lives quietly inside us. And maybe the only way to hear it is to step far enough away from the noise until the world goes quiet, and in that silence, our own rhythm begins to quietly play its melody. We live in a world where most of us were never taught how to be with ourselves. We were raised to value productivity, performance, and people pleasing. So when everything goes quiet, we panic, the distractions fade, and we're left with the rawness of our own thoughts. And sometimes that's a hard place to be. A place where we start to question our happiness. By default, we tie our worth to how useful, wanted, or loved we are by others. So being alone can feel like being invisible, like something's missing. But the truth is, being alone doesn't mean being unloved. It just means there's space to hear your own voice, to feel what's been buried under all the noise, to meet yourself maybe for the first time. And that can be scary, but it can also be the beginning of everything. When we are alone, there is no one to distract us from the constant stream of inner dialogue. It's always there, running quietly in the background 24/7. Our minds are so powerful. They build stories shaped by our past, our fears, our beliefs, and those stories make us feel. And often the things that matter most are the ones we need to face within, so we can finally be free from their control. These quiet truths sit at the edge of our awareness, lingering like shadows. They catch us in our most vulnerable moments, like thieves of joy, like silent betrayals that live inside us. But when we stop running, when we sit with the discomfort instead of avoiding it, at first it's messy. Old wounds arise, confusion, grief, doubt, all the things we would rather avoid. They surface. But if we stay just a little longer, we start to feel something shift. Thoughts untangle, truths we've buried begins to rise. A strange kind of clarity emerges, not loud, but undeniable. And in that clarity, there is space to act, to change, to release. We might realize that some of the things we've been chasing, we don't even want. Some of the roles we've been playing aren't even ours. And what we do want, it might scare people if we say it out loud, even the ones closest to us, because it's honest, because it doesn't fit nearly into what's been expected of us, because perhaps we never showed that side of ourselves to others, but to us, it will feel like home. When something feels like home, it's not always calm. Sometimes it arrives as a soft ache, the ache of hitting a spot so true it almost hurts. It might come with obsession, with peace, or excitement that feels too big to hold. And then there is that strange feeling, like no matter how long you ignore it, postponed it, or try to push it away, it keeps circling back until we realize that this truth, this pull, might never go away. So why delay it? The focus and loudness of silence, that's the runway for every dream we ever had, even the ones we thought we lost. They don't disappear, they just wait, beneath the noise, beneath the pressure, beneath the distractions we used to avoid ourselves. And when they finally slow down enough to listen, they rise, not out of nowhere, but from somewhere we're always known. We can't live in silence and self-reflection forever. Eventually, we crave movement, expansion, a steering of our reality, something that makes us feel alive again, and in alignment with who we are becoming. Personally, my time alone made me rethink every relationship I ever had, why it existed, what it taught me, and whether it deserves a place in the version of me I'm stepping into now. I came to the realization that burning bridges isn't always a bad idea. Sometimes unfollowing, stepping back, or closing a door is an act of self-respect, especially when someone's name pop up on my screen and I instantly feel a piece of my energy leaves. If it's not a hell yes, maybe it's a quiet no I need to honor. As I said in my previous video, I'm in a season of shedding. And part of that shedding is learning how to pivot away from relationships that no longer energize me, or maybe never did, and towards ones that feel reciprocal, rooted, real. But even if this season leaves me with no one to call, no one to text, I know I can stand on my own. I can sit in my silence and feel good in it. Because that's what this training of solitude is about. Not isolation, but the ability to choose connection from a place of wholeness, not desperation. After the shedding, the silence, and the inner storms, you start to notice something shift. Alone no longer feels like lack. It feels like enough. You no longer search for yourself in someone else's reflection. You recognize your own face, your own rhythm, and you begin to build your life around that. Being alone isn't a waiting room anymore. It's a home. Being happy alone isn't about avoiding people. It's about returning to yourself. Because when you know how to be with your own thoughts, when you know how to sit in silence and feel joy rise up without anyone else's presence, you're free. And that freedom is magnetic. From that place, you don't chase love, you recognize it. You don't cling to people, you choose them the way you choose peace. That's why being alone matters. Not because it's easy, but because it teaches you how to belong to yourself first. And once you found home within, you will never settle for anything less than truth.